Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Hunter aka Bulls, and I hope you're having a fantastic great day. And I'm here with one of the biggest One Piece theories that we have had in such a long time. And before we get into this is my own original theory. I've actually done a lot of research into this. Of course, there's a lot more. So if you guys do want to work on this theory, I would appreciate if you guys give me a shout out. But I'm 97% sure that I found out who Imu actually is. So this is not scripted, so excuse me if I do stutter a lot, but in today's video we're going to be talking about who Imu-sama actually is and his connection to the old kingdom of One Piece and the history of One Piece. And once again, I'm going to give you guys the basic information of this character, what his roles would be in the new kingdom of One Piece, and how everything's stringed along together. So there's a lot more information that you guys can find out if you guys want to research and bring your own theory to this. But anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to talk about who Imu-sama actually is. And there's tons of theories of people saying, you know, Imu is actually like Umi backwards, which is the sea, which is very smart, but I don't think that's the actual sense. I think Imu is a shortcut of the name. So I believe Imu-sama is actually in the Egyptian history known as Imhotep. And the reason of this was actually kind of weird. The way I found this out was reading a manga. Now, I'm a huge otaku and I'm insomniac, so when I can't sleep I read a ton of manga. And I came across this manga named the Great Priest Imhotep. And the funny thing is, when he's talking to this girl who's one of the main characters, he says, "Call me by my shortcut name," which was Imu. And that just came to my head. I was like, wait, isn't that like Imu from One Piece? So I went to research this and it just connected in so many ways. And another thing you can connect is we've been given two names of Imu. Some people call him Im or Imu, and this is exactly what's going on in this manga too. So before we get into the historical Imu-sama, we're going to talk about the actual One Piece Imu-sama and just break down what he has. So Imu is pretty much the highest ranking person we have seen via the government, even though many people do not know of this person's existence. He sits in the throne that is supposed to be empty, and the one who sits on the throne is the king of the world. He also seems to govern the Gorosei, the 5 elders. He seems to be a person of high intelligence, that even so the Gorosei rely on him. It also seems that he has lived for a very long period, just as the Gorosei has, and I believe that he has knowledge on medicine or a way to extend the normal lifespan. Another thing to take note is how close he is to nature. Also, in terms of status, he seems to be revered as a god in comparison to the Gorosei. Another thing to take note is the place we first see Imu. It was said the area was called Pangaea Castle. In geology, Pangaea was a supercontinent, which is pretty much all the continent joined together until a tectonic rifting which separated them into form of continents we have now. I'm not pretty sure about this, remember I'm not a geologist, but so my boy Sebs. This could also back up the theories that Luffy will destroy the Fisherman Island to merge the seas possibly, but that's not what we're here for. Now look at the connection to the Egyptian historical Imu. Imhotep in today's history is known as a multi-genius. He was known for medicine and architecture, and the person to make the first step pyramid for King Joza back in the Old Kingdom. I know you guys got this connection when I said Old Kingdom, but we'll get into this soon. But that's not all. He was also known as the world's first physician, a grand priest, a scientist, and an astrologer, to then later be taken to be deified, which is to be known as a god, and the only other person to be seen as this other than the king of Egypt. 2000 years after his death, Imhotep's status had risen to that of a god of medicine and healing. There is also part of a legend that talks about an anacrostic battle between the Old Kingdom and the Assyrian armies, where Imhotep fights an Assyrian sorceress in a duel of magic, and we'll get into more of this a little bit later. So in all four, Imhotep played the hugest part in building the Old Kingdom of Egypt. And in Egypt there is actually 3 layers. There is the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom of Egypt, which is exactly just how things are going with One Piece. And that's not all. Imhotep was also known for having a very long lifespan. He had medicine that enabled him to live for a very long period of time, where certain people saw him as an immortal. And he was known as medicine, so he was able to cure people of diseases in this time when no one knew cures about, even using natural resources. And even the Greeks ended up equating him to their own god of medicine known as Asclepios, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And another thing is, there is not much known about Imhotep as of now. The only reason we found out about him was through the old ruins of Egypt, and there came where I'm pretty sure there was a statue of King Djoser, and there was a huge recognition going towards Imhotep. And then what helped them read this language was the Rosetta Stone, where people broke this down and they were able to then learn the language of what they spoke as, or pretty much learn it, and then decipher what they've talked about, which exactly sounds like the Rio poneglyphs. So this is actually being recorded after I finished the video. I forgot this part of information, and it's more on Imhotep himself and his connections to the world and Freemasonry. So he has high inspirations towards Freemasonry and architecture towards their side of things. And also, if you guys know, there's some people that theorize that the Gorosei are the Illuminati of One Piece, and that would actually kind of connect with Imhotep being above them. But yeah, let's keep rolling. So I believe that the two are actually the same person. I believe that One Piece Imu is actually Imhotep, and this is their connection. So we know that they have connections from the Old Kingdom and the New Kingdom, which is just too good to be true. But then, as I said, Imhotep and Imu have both lived a long life in the One Piece century. I believe Imu has a type of medicine that enables them to live a longer life, and it might not be a medicine, it could be the power of a devil fruit or something that is, you know, abnormal in One Piece. Thus why the Gorosei have so much respect for him. But that's not all. He played a huge part in building the Old Kingdom to where it is now, and that is the New Kingdom. And if you also look at the way Imu looks inside of the manga, he could also be seen as a high priest, just as Im was in the real world, especially with a long black cloaked figure, which also looks like a religious type of being. And it's also good to take note that during the Old Kingdom, the king of Egypt became a living god who ruled absolutely and could demand the services and wealth of his subjects. And until the New Kingdom, he was referred as this, but when the New Kingdom came across, there was the pharaohs. That is the starting of the pharaohs, and the pharaohs are actually, in translation, known as kings, just as Imu is the king of One Piece in the New Kingdom. It's also possible that Oda has combined the two king and Imhotep as one being in this in the manga itself. And just as I said, as Imhotep was revered as a god compared to the Gorosei, he's actually in that step as well in the manga. And the time of the Old Kingdom was a time where things advanced very quickly on the architecture side, especially with how they were building pyramids. And to think about this, Imhotep was the key to all of this. Anyways, I believe that there's too many consistencies tying the two characters together, so I do believe Imu is actually Imhotep. And I also mentioned a battle that Imhotep had with the Assyrian sorceress, and Assyria at the time reached the height of technological, scientific and cultural achievements for its time, at its peak. So it's possible that these guys actually have connections to the people of D in the Old Kingdom. But now what's going to interest you guys is also the New Kingdom of Egypt. So this was when the Pharaoh Ramses, all the way up to Ramses III, had control of New Egypt. So Ramses III was known as a warrior pharaoh due to his strong military strategies. But listen to this, he led the way by defeating the invaders known as the Sea People, who had caused destruction in other civilizations and empires. And this story of the Sea Peoples comes in the final years of power for the third and the last kingdom of the New Kingdom of Egypt. And between this, there was so many kingdoms in this time span, and whether it's through fighting or whether it was through the New Kingdom building these, that it connects to almost how One Piece has its 20 kingdoms. So to conclude, I believe that Imhotep is actually Imu of One Piece, and that his characteristic and his traits and his history is what he's using in One Piece. As you guys know, Oda's a genius. He loves this type of history. He loves his mythology, and I believe that's what's going on here. But now is my take on what the history and the Void Century is in One Piece. So what I believe is the old history of One Piece would be between this Old Kingdom and some cross connection towards like Bible referencing. So if we look at things in chronological order, right now in One Piece is the era of pirates. But before the era of pirates, where was we? We had the religious eras and we had the Egyptian period. So this is how I believe that fits into the One Piece system. And I believe that this will all connect to the will of D and the people and the meaning behind the name D. So we know in the history of One Piece so far is that the kingdoms came together to destroy this one kingdom, and this happened in the time of the Old Kingdom to then produce what is known as the New Kingdom. And what they did was, with this one kingdom that was destroyed, they erased everything about them in history, just as they want to erase a new light. And it's most likely that this kingdom that was destroyed is the people of the will of D, and thus why they are the enemy of the gods. But what will cause them to destroy them? And what I believe is, just like the Assyrians, they had advanced technology, just as we have the divine weapons of One Piece, just like Uranus and Pluto. But that's not all. I believe that there is a connection between the devil fruits and the people of the D. And I believe that this will then have a biblical connection. So this will connect to Adam as he ate the apple from the forbidden tree. And the reason why I said this is he had eaten the apple of the enemy of the god, which is Satan, and thus was expelled from the kingdom, just as the will of D, or the people of D, have been expelled and exiled and destroyed. So we also know that the family of D was referred as the natural enemy of God, also known as the celestial dragons, as they are referred to gods as well. And I highly believe that this is something to do with the apple from the biblical and the Islamic story too. So some things we could look at is, maybe they was not supposed to eat from this tree, and they ended up eating the fruits and gaining devil fruit abilities. Or it could be the entire opposite, that they built ways to fight against the devil fruits because they were actually wrong, such as haki. And of course there's something bigger than that. I believe that Blackbeard also has huge knowledge into the people of the D, just as he knows about the knife which enables you to extract the devil fruits. And I believe that the poneglyphs left behind are just as the scribes of the old kingdom of Imhotep, and also they have connection to the Rosetta Stone. And I believe that the language on this is actually hieroglyphics, just as in Egypt. And thus we'll reach to an era of the new kingdom, which is right now in One Piece, where the sea people will appear, which is the pirates. And you know, with how Roger's come about, and now we've got our boy Luffy, so I believe that their goal would be found in the history as we go along One Piece. And I believe that D is actually a family name, but we just don't know the exact full name of it, which of course a lot of you guys already know this. And I believe that they extinguished this light, just like they're trying to do in the recent arc. And I believe that what they're trying to extinguish is actually Vivi's family, also known as the Nefertari family, or the Kingdom of Alabastra. We also know that they actually want to separate from the agreement of the 20 kingdoms, which is well, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. And I believe that if they were to separate, they will cause too much of an impact with the kingdom and with what Imu-sama's created, that this will cause a huge rift. And especially with Vivi's character, she'll be able to push along so many people and show the truth. And I believe that they do not want this to get out there. So in short, the most dangerous people as of right now to the government, I believe, is the Nefertari family. Another thing to take note is Mary Joyce. I believe that is all artificial, and that is why it's placed at the top of the world, just as the trees there are all artificial. I also believe that there is more biblical references, just as some people say Joy Boy was seen as Jesus, maybe to do with the ark was to do with Noah, and there might be a connection with Moses coming soon. So I'm sorry if I went off topic here, but I just wanted you guys to see my point of view of what I believe is the history of One Piece. And this is not polished, by the way. I just wanted to get this video out there as soon as possible, just so I can give you guys the knowledge. I still do agree and believe that Imhotep is to do with Imu, and if you guys do your research and see more or read about it, it will definitely convince you even more so. And once again, just as I said, I did not polish this. I'm literally going on the go, so I will be polishing this up and make a perfect, hopefully, theory, and maybe we'll see this happen in the future of One Piece. And I've got just so much more to come up, like literally I've got more to do with devil fruits, I've got more to do with Luffy's devil fruit itself, more to do with Blackbeard, more to do with the Will of D, more to do with the history of One Piece, literally. But to conclude, let's just sum some of this up. And this is a little note that I had on my phone before I even bothered breaking this down, but I said Imu-sama is Imhotep, and the Old Kingdom has connections to previous Egypt. works in timeline of Pirates Age coming after, previous prophets such as Joy Boy as Jesus and the builder of the Ark as Noah, possible to see something connected to Moses, the people of D were the makers of devil fruits and possible each weapon, thus why the kingdom wanted to destroy and exile them, and of course I brought up another topic of the will of D too. Also, to connect the will of D, there is a reference towards Adam. Blackbeard also knows about the people of D since he is one of them, and he also knows more about the Yami fruit, how to eat multiple, and the knife to steal devil fruits. But yeah, hopefully I didn't waffle too much. I just really want to get this video out there. Regardless, I know some people critique this very hard, but I do want you guys to take this seriously. I believe that I've taken a good step towards breaking something down, and I do believe that Imhotep is something to do with Imusama in One Piece. And I'm gonna actually check the manga out that I was talking about in the beginning. I'm gonna read it. I haven't read much, I've only read 2 chapters, but I know this video was very long. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. There's plenty more to come from me. I'll also review My Hero Academia and do theories for My Hero Academia 2, and I'll be doing Samurai 8 and just tons of other manga. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please be sure to share this out. This is my second channel. I lost my first channel, and I appreciate all the support we can get to push me back up to where I was, and you know, make my steps in the community. Hopefully I'll be starting a Reddit page to do more too. And also be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll be tweeting a lot of things out, maybe to do with One Piece too. It's Twitter at HunterXBills, I'm pretty sure. I'll have that in the description down below. But yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.